If I think about how AI is fundamentally changing media quality and how IAS approaches it, there has never been a bigger change in our industry. Let's just look at the sheer explosion in terms of multimedia content that is being created, right? By several estimates, more than 50% of the content right now is actually AI generated. That's a lot. So, of course, brands are understandably skeptical and apprehensive about how to approach it, how to make sure that their brands are showing up in the right environments, that they are protected, and they can also deliver on performance. And that is where AI has actually been a huge accelerant in terms of our technology and models, because we are able to really build multimedia classification models at tremendous AI scale. So just to give you an idea of the scale, we are talking about 140 years worth of video content that is classified every single day. So it's a lot. And we're able to really do it at an extremely nuanced level, be able to learn and iterate on those models at all times. And when I step back, I look at where we are today, right? Like we're in Cannes. The whole premise is about creativity. The whole premise is about finding and connecting brands to consumers in the right environment. And the work we are doing with AI and the work we are doing to really parse out the signal from the noise is exactly about that, so that humans can actually find the creative content and they can engage with it.
So, Srishti, one thing I was wondering when you talked a lot about the volume that you're able to synthesize and analyze, wanted to talk a bit more about media quality as an engine for growth. How do you convince advertisers that investing in quality is worth it when performance optimization often rewards the cheapest inventory?
Yeah, media quality has fundamentally changed from being about protection to really being about growth. And the numbers really do speak for themselves. So when we look at the impact on working media, higher media quality equates to almost a 35% increase in working media. And that's huge. And intuitively, it makes sense, right? Because when consumers see an ad in the right environment, they actually engage with it, they lean in, and that leads to higher outcomes. So, just as an example, recently we saw with a CPG client that when they optimized towards higher attention media, they actually saw a 40% increase in sales lift. For another automotive client, we saw that when they optimized towards higher viewability metrics, they actually saw almost a 30% increase in brand awareness. So these numbers are really very, very compelling. And the reason this is really a flywheel and an accelerant is because higher media quality gives brands the ability to really be able to use these signals in pre-bid so that they can actually make sure that the ads always land in the right environments.
Srishti, earlier you mentioned the theme of creativity is a big part of Cannes, obviously. And there's a lot of conversation about the creator economy and social media right now as well. How has AI changed the way advertisers can use media quality analysis in social environments in particular?
Yeah, so this really gets very, very exciting. And for me, especially when I think about it as a product person, AI has given us the tools to really revolutionize how we are able to analyze content that is user generated and in social environments. I was talking earlier about how much content there is. Our models are not only able to classify it at scale, but then we are also able to go and be extremely nuanced. We can look at sentiment, we can look at emotion, we can look at nuances between languages. And that is really, really powerful for brands. And a lot of that technology is what we put into our social optimization tools. And the results really speak for themselves, and clients really would want to leverage that given how much of their spend is going in social environments. Another important thing we're able to do now is get extremely granular. These models are self-learning, and we have over 15 years of data. And what that does is it gives the power so that brands are able to build their custom models. These are extremely powerful, nuanced, built exactly to tailor fit the needs of specific brands. And that has been a huge focus for us. So whenever we talk to brands, it's really about I can invest in the creator economy feeling more confident that my brand is going to show up in the right environments, and those environments would be also hyper focused towards performance.
Srishti, obviously, IAS works with advertisers, agencies, publishers, as well as platforms. Is there a disconnect that you see between the ways publishers think about quality and how advertisers define it? And again, if you do see a disconnect, if that disconnect is actual, how are you solving for it?
Yeah, so historically there has been a disconnect because the buy side and sell side can sometimes think independently and not really connect the dots. But because we work with both sides, we are actually able to bridge that. So one of the things we recently announced as an example for streaming is Total TV, which is really the visibility layer across streaming. And we have not only the buy side leaning in, but we also have the sell side leaning in. We have several publishers, for example, Disney and NBCU and Amazon Prime leaning in and sharing signals with us so that brands can be confident on what genres and what programs their ad dollars are appearing against, which is a great step forward for the industry. Another example of really bridging that gap is Quality Connect. So brands have very specific preferences around brand safety and suitability, but publishers usually do not have visibility into that. But that is where Quality Connect comes in to provide that visibility to both sides so that both sides win and are able to provide the transparency that is needed in this space.